The tides are shifting and the Liberals are absolutely in panic mode.
And he will not get his security clearance so he can get the briefing necessary to keep all Canadians safe.
I'm Jasmine Lane. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, comment your thoughts down below. I really believe that Donald Trump's win in the US sent a massive signal to many, many governments across the globe. And that signal was, we reject you. We reject the WEF. We reject the woke mind virus. And we are so gosh darn tired of you. And of course, Justin Trudeau does not like being rejected. The guy's never really known failure, so this must sting real bad. Pierre Poilievre ripped him to shreds over a lot of really dumb things that he's done. You gotta watch this.
The New York Times reported a decade ago that Canada had the richest middle class in the world, and the median incomes for Canadians were higher than in the United States. Oh, how things have changed after 9 years of Liberal taxes, red tape, and attacks on our energy sector. Americans make $32,000 more than Canadians, and now a newly elected American president wants to take our jobs for Americans. We understand why Donald Trump wants to take Canadian jobs, but why does this Prime Minister want to help him?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when we successfully renegotiated NAFTA and protected Canadian jobs, protected steel workers and aluminum workers, protected our supply managed sectors and agricultural workers, protected Canadians from one coast to coast to the coast, from coast to coast to coast, the leader of the Conservative Party at the time referred to our approach as dumb, Mr. Speaker. Successfully standing up for Canadians is not dumb. But you know what is dumb, Mr. Speaker? Refusing to get your security clearance so you can actually protect members of your caucus, so you can protect Canadians, get the briefings necessary on national security.
I just need to say this, and maybe at some point or another I will do a deeper dive on it, but for real, I'm so tired of hearing about the security clearance thing, and the Liberals also know that it is nothing. It is a BS argument that they have for the sake of having an argument, when in reality, it's not mandatory. So this would be a very different conversation if it was a mandatory clearance that Poilievre wasn't getting. But the fact that it's not mandatory for leaders of the opposition, sure, other leaders of the oppositions may have it, but it's not mandatory. So if it was so valuable and important and a must-need thing, it should be mandatory. Also important to note, I just did a video on this a few days ago, but the amount of corruption and traitor behavior that Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh, and beyond have successfully undergone, also in their past leading up to their life in politics. And the fact that they had security clearance, they cleared it, right? And none of the stuff that they did in their dirty background had any impact whatsoever on getting the clearance, nor has it prevented them from continuing to do dirty stuff. Only this time with Canadian taxpayer money. We really need to just end this whole argument talking point thing. It's so silly. We know why Pierre hasn't gotten it. He has said why he hasn't gotten it, and it makes perfect sense. And you know what, Justin Trudeau? If you want him to get it so bad and it's so vitally important, why don't you go ahead and make it mandatory? Then he'll get it. It always drives me nuts too. There's so many people on X and other social media platforms. Oh, well, what about the security clearance? And it's like, dude, it literally doesn't matter. And Pierre Poilievre cannot protect anybody because he gets it. Justin Trudeau has it. So why isn't Justin Trudeau protecting Canadians? The last I checked, Justin Trudeau was the leader of the country, not Poilievre. I digress.
Mr. Speaker, his approach was dumb. It was dumb to let the Americans reimpose Buy America rules that Harper had got lifted. It was dumb to let Trump impose softwood lumber tariffs that Biden has now doubled. Yep. But you know what is dumb dumber and dumbest of all, imposing a 61 cent a liter carbon tax that will force our trucking companies, our factories, and our mines to head south of the border into the arms of President Trump. We know why he wants to create American jobs with Canadian money, but why does this Prime Minister want to help him?
Not even just that either. Think about the capital gains tax. The Liberals' own investment and economy advisor, Mark Carney, is moving his $1 trillion business out of Canada to the US so that he doesn't have to be taxed as hard. Like, there are so many things that the Trudeau government, they'll always say, we're here for Canadians, blah, blah, blah. But then they do things directly against Canadians.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we stood up and protected Canadian jobs, Canadian industry, and Canadian trade. We know that the American government cares about creating prosperity in North America, and we're going to do it together. But what the American government, and particularly this president, also cares about is defense and national security. Well, the leader of the Conservative Party was sitting around the cabinet table when they dropped spending on defense to below 1%, and the Americans won't understand any more than Canadians do why the leader of the opposition refuses to take national security seriously, refuses to get his blue.
It always makes me laugh when Trudeau and his caucus members and even backbenchers sometimes will go and complain about things that the Harper government did. That would be much more relevant to me if this was Trudeau's first term, but he's been here for nearly 10 years now. So you actually cannot, I'm just going to say that, you can no longer say anything that is an attack on past administration because you have had 9 years, my guy, to fix it, and you didn't. So the only person whose responsibility this problem is now is you. So just accept the blame and do better.
Mr. Speaker, maybe the reason why Conservatives were able to get rid of Buy America and softwood lumber tariffs is because we helped the Americans crush the Taliban and ISIS, whereas this Prime Minister couldn't even shoot down a Chinese weather balloon over northern Canada. Now he wants to impose a tariff on his own companies, a 61 cent a liter carbon tax, 300% higher than it is right now, where there's a 0% carbon tax south of the border. Why does he want to create an avalanche of Canadian businesses, jobs, and paychecks leaving for America?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we saw it once again right now. The Conservative leader constantly talking down the members of the Canadian Armed Forces, talking down and nickel and diming our veterans. They shuttered 9 veteran services offices, cut thousands of staff from people helping veterans, and made cuts to the Canadian Armed Forces that brought our spending on defense to below 1%. Mr. Speaker, he won't even commit to our timeline to get it up to 2%.
9 years. You've had 9 years to fix that. And if you haven't fixed it yet, Trudeau, sorry, buddy, that's only your fault. It's not relevant to the Canadian people, and you are wasting time, as I'm sure you're doing intentionally, by complaining about something that we can't go back on and fix. Like, you can't keep going back to the Harper years, Trudeau. Get over it, fix it, and if you can't fix it, then admit defeat and take the L. Okay? Thank you. That is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like watching all things politics and culture wars and beyond, be sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm Jasmine Lane. You can also like the video and comment your thoughts down below. I'll talk to you later.